Welcome, everybody. I just want to make a little astrological baby transmission right now because I'm rejoicing. So many people are starting to feel a lot better. And I recently made a video about Jupiter and Jupiter coming into exaltation. And at the time of making this, we still have a few days to go before Jupiter comes into exaltation in Cancer in Vedic sidereal astrology. But people are already feeling the momentum, and it's a wonderful time. So I thought I'd just give you a baby preview across a couple of systems to just help you plan more effectively. I think that sometimes when we've been in the sludge, which is amazing, we're purifying karma, we're moving through ancient wounds and patterns. Then the minute there's some flow, we can get really, really overexcited. Okay. And there is a lot to rejoice about for sure. And we're in this amazing fire horse year. But again, what we can sometimes do is we gallop ahead because suddenly we feel better. We got a spring in our step. And a lot of people in the global north, it's that spring, summer energy. So sometimes people get a little bit carried away, and then the fall, as the next batch of karma comes, is really abrupt. So I wanted to tell you a couple of little windows to look at because this will maybe help you to navigate. So firstly, I wanted to tell you a bit about the year lord in Dreamspell astrology that has been governing this year and that's going to undergo change. And we're in yellow resonant seed year. And resonant, I think, is really suggesting a lot of the journey that we've been on, which is moving. A lot of people have been through karmic relationships. And a lot of people in this year have said, I do not want any more of this codependency. I'm really working on myself. A lot of people have gone single, and a lot of people are just waiting for each other to all do their work. And that's something we all have to do on our own mostly. And then a lot of people have met significant partners because of the work that they've been doing over the years, and they're really finding these Dharma partners. And I wrote a chapter on Dharma dating in my book, Dakini Weaving, which was published actually 2 years ago because it was really foreseeing this rise, moving beyond karma to Dharma relating. And this year is really, really a lot about agitating that which is not harmonious out of our system. And it's not about avoiding conflict. It's about us really, if we want to become beacons of the golden age, to start to purify so that we see what our new law of attraction is, rather than keeping going through the old processes which mark us as the old person that we used to be. And this is why a lot of people feel very uncomfortable in certain settings because they're showing up as the people see them as who they were 20 years ago. And so a lot of people have abstained from interactions and are now starting to feel, a lot of people are starting to say, I'm really going to go out now. I really want to go to a festival. I really want to do this. So we're all exploring this new resonance and seeing these new kind of soul groupings, the new ecosystem. And some of the seed energy is about what's our new investment into our new ecosystem? What are we seeding for a new timeline? It doesn't mean it's grown yet, but it's now about who am I the person who I really want to show up as. When we transpose the seed energy into its traditional Mayan counterpart, it's actually connected to a net that we carry that's full of all the old heavy stuff, but all the good stuff as well. And it's this need that we have to really purify and let go of the burdens of the past, the old historic version of ourselves. Also, to let go of the ancestral wounds that we've been carrying. And this is why so many people have been feeling this sense of urgency to purify for their bloodline, and these huge, heavy things rising through them, because it's actually an amazing time to do that. So on the 25th of July in the Dream Spell calendar, we come into the day out of time, and then we come into the new galactic year. And the new year is going to be red galactic moon. Okay. And galactic is number 8. So it suggests that we're coming up an octave in something and we're coming to a deeper state of balance of that. And this is all about the moon is about self-remembrance. It's also about purifying trauma and karma. it's about working with the subconscious and our and the collective conscious and the collective unconscious. And so there's a watery energy to it that comes into a stabilized form. And the galactic is saying, I feel, that there's something in our galactic heritage. There's something in this this grief that we have a lot of the time around our roots, okay? And as we can see, and this is also exacerbated by the karmic nodes being in Aquarius and Leo, right now we're in this collective lesson around leadership, what it is to be in community, this wonky forms of vertical power relations that have, kept people subordinated for too long. And these lessons are coming not to their end, but they're coming to a peak. And then we're going to go into a new set of karmic conditions in early December. And so all of these things have been playing out in relationships and community. And this is why there's a lot right now. I'm also seeing a lot of people are places where they were delivering work, that chapter is coming to an end. Places they were doing things, there's now something changing. And quite a lot of questioning of the old paradigm being projected onto our way of doing things. And sometimes this is playing out in a gendered way of still sometimes what we would say the yang is still not quite giving space to the yin. And there's still some work to be done on that. But the general state of discontent on the planet around wonky oligarchy type energy and despotic leadership and how that plays out in any sort of setting, which is, I would say, the delusional patriarchal. It's okay to have some patriarchy, but the outmoded part of those institutions and the way certain people perform that, there's no space for it. So there's been quite a lot of sacred wrath rising with people. And sometimes that's playing out. And now, in many ways, what we might say is the more yin energy is starting to find that it's not afraid of being silenced or shamed for stepping up anymore. And there's this sort of rebalancing that's taking place. So we have this spring in our step that's here. And then we're going to come into this deeper port of self-remembrance. And this is why there have been so many inklings to disclosure and things that we had the photographs of underneath the pyramids. We have these constant questions as to our genetic heritage, our roots, things like that. And this sometimes brings grief because, things like the legacy of slavery mean that so many of us don't fully know our roots, okay? What happened, all the records, half the people drowned in the Atlantic, whatever. And that ineffable energy and pain sometimes at who we are, we feel a very deep state of co-creative remembering is underway. And this is why so many people have been working with ancestral shards because we have to create the space. The moon in Dreamspell calendar is also about the starting of the opening of the top of the head to activate the crown chakra. And really what we need to remember is our divine birthright, that we're all a child of the divine. And so a lot of these things which were punitive and linked to these old forms of institutional control, like the church or certain organizations, they were keeping us subdued and full of burdens that were performed through the plight of our ancestors. And now, as we start to remember that we are the divine child, and we will go to a deeper state of epigenetic and morphogenetic healing in this year to come. And what's fascinating is that door opens, and then we go into the last eclipse of this pivot of Leo and Aquarius. So the faulty legacy of dominion in the wrong way, well, all dominion is wrong, but the eradication of our free will and our sovereignty and our remembrance as the divine essence that we all are, this is all due to kind of go into a very deep state process for the eclipse season, which is going to be in August, mid-August. And therefore, what we've got right now, I'm making this right at the very end of May. We've got 2 months that are really kind of flowy and nice, and then it's almost like this portal of self-remembrance is going to open, and then again, how power structures are outmoded and the well, the unfairness of many systems and the need for us to all step into a more benevolent, altruistic version of ourselves, as we also have Saturn in Pisces, so Pisces being the last sign, and Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is there for some time. We're all our deeper innate spiritual nature is being activated, and this is why so many people are coming online in this time. So we there can be the moon often means that unprocessed karma and trauma comes to the surface. And deeper states of our ancestral pain and things may come up as we go into this deeper state of self-remembrance. And there's something galactic about it, but also collective about it. And it is from what the learnings have that have kept us very much in our singular process. Some of these deeper questions are going to come into the public domain more and more. And with that, we're also rejigging into this deeper form of distributed, horizontal relating, telepathy, weaving, um, moving beyond just being appointed as a vertical power structure, that the omnidirectional human is coming online. And this is all part of the stepping stones into 2027, which is such a big year where a lot is going to land. So we are undergoing a big purification right now, and that purification is going to continue because we need to make space for the higher codes of our essence to come online. So a lot of people know they can feel innately that they are becoming somewhat more spiritual as 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 looking at not being just the material being. I think a lot of people still are very confused when they say they're spiritual because it usually means they're new age and they want a lot of money. But actually, where this essence of that there's more than just the physical world is really coming online for people. So I just wanted to make this little weaving because really make use of the flow that we've got in June and July, but don't feel like you broke everything and you're holding everybody back. If you find, especially in the second half of August, that suddenly you're in a process again, because this is quite likely, there are many markers of why this will come in, okay? And where it's placed is over a lot of ancestral karma, and it's right on point with what the dream spell calendar is also saying with the year lord. So there's this deeper state of purification and getting to the real crux of some of our collective wounds that we have the opportunity to move through. And this is then setting the scene for these lighter beings to come in to 2027. Finally, I read a lot of charts, and for years I've been seeing so many people will come online in 2027. And I rejoice because I get a lot of elder women at the moment asking for charts being read. And it's so amazing to see the true rise of the grandmothers rather than people talking about it. And I'm really rejoicing because for a lot of the older sisters, you can see that they're coming to the end of some very deep transformative processes and they're coming online. And they are going to be a really amazing force to behold from 2027. And we really need that in our communities. The grandmothers are very deep primordial essence of the cosmic natural law that we need to restore the natural order in its true way. This is the dreaming before the doing. And whilst there are a lot of people with a lot of testosterone proclaiming this and that, until the grandmothers are in their place to dream the new timeline into existence, and unless we can honor them in their true position, it won't be a golden age or a new earth. Because we have to reinstate things in the true cosmic order. And I am rejoicing because you can see these people coming online. So once they're fully in place and fully feeling empowered, and I encourage you to do what you can to support the older women because they are holding an important piece of the puzzle. Okay. So happy transforming, everybody. I hope this has been useful for you. And please do share, like, and subscribe. The more people do that, the more I'll make videos like this because I have a lot to share from many different systems. Okay. Over and out. Gracias, gracias, gracias.